Hi everyone, it's Lydia, aka Thoroughly Rigid, back at it again with another episode of Whimsical Wednesdays, where I talk about what's going on astrologically. Okay, today, I don't know if I'm gonna put it in the freaking video because I don't even know what take this is. We're gonna be talking about Mercury in retrograde. I don't know if I talked about Mercury in retrograde in my Aries Mercury video that I recently uploaded semi-recently. I'm gonna put that card or whatever thingy. You can watch that. But yeah, Mercury's in retrograde. Also, I want to talk about the full moon eclipse also, because we're in eclipse season. This officially started. If I stutter, I'm not doing a retake because it's Mercury retrograde and it's fucking shit up. Yeah, so let's talk about it. Mercury retrograde. I think it's still in the sign of Aries, but yeah, Mercury's in retrograde, and so so I don't know if I'm gonna make any coherent sense, but yeah, and then eclipse season on top of that. It's just everything's doing a flip through. But if you notice, if you have been paying attention to the cosmos and your life in particular, on an individual level, I don't even want to say like a collective thing, because I feel like these I hate when I say these astrological events and everything have been very tailored to like individuals. And I've said this before because I studied psychology and sociology, and I didn't like sociology. I don't know if I've said this before, but I didn't like sociology because it focused too much on the social aspect of it. Made it to whereas it was like, oh, like people do the things they do because society and pressure, and it's like, no, you have to look at the individual psyche, because what are we all interacting with each other with? Our individual psyche. Does that make any fucking sense? Mercury in retrograde, bro. Grammar and freaking, it's out the window. It's out the window. Okay. But like, you can't understand sociology. You don't have sociology if you don't have psychology, because we need to study the individuals interacting with everybody. What environment did this individual come from? How did they grow up? The family they came from, their own personal interests, and what cultivated that on an individual level to see how they interact with other people. Like if you put, like, let's say if you put a, oh, do I want to say that? No. If you put, I don't know, somebody who's into sports in a room full of people who play chess. You have to see, because chess is considered a sport, correct? It's competitive. Chess is a competitive, what is honking? Chess is a competitive sport. It's oh my god. You gotta be fucking kidding me every time I speak. Chess can be considered a competitive sport, okay? There's competitions, there's fucking leagues and shit for that. But if you put somebody who likes traditional sports like fucking football and football and freaking, I don't know, baseball and basketball and shit, like if you put them in a room with chess players and the person doesn't consider chess a sport, you know, it's like, look at the psychology of the person, you know, like if they're from like a place where it's like, oh, like these are sports, and this, you know, this is like the national sport or whatever of that country, and then you put them in a like room full of people who play chess, who from a country that considers chess like a high stakes sport or whatever, you know, like you gotta look at the individual, you know. And it's not like, and the thing is, do you think that that person that likes traditional sports is going to conform and be like, oh yeah, chess is, you know, totally a sport? Or is he gonna like bully the people in the room? Like, you gotta look at the individual psyche, right? And be like, oh my god, you freaking like nerds, you know, like this is not a sport, losers or whatever, you know, like what is he gonna do? Assuming he's a he, you know, assuming this is a guy. But yeah, what are they gonna do? How are they gonna react? I doubt that they're going to be like, oh my god, like, oh no, yeah, they're gonna like crack and be like, this is 33 on my timer. Crazy many people, I don't know. I doubt they're gonna be like pressured into thinking, oh yes, chess is cool, you know. They may have a breakthrough, okay, and be like, oh, like, and wake up and be like, oh yeah, this is a sport, see how hard it is and how competitive it is. But it's not gonna be like pressure. It's probably gonna, it has to do with, you have to get them on a psychological level, like, okay, like, you know, are they insecure about their intelligence and da da da, you know, like, I don't want to go too much into this, but you know what I'm saying, right? Because we don't look at chess as like as high stakes as like football or something in American culture, right? Like if the person's from American culture and they go to like China where they do, you know, value chess and stuff, like, you know, they're not going to be pressured like that because that's not where they come from. And that's affected their psyche. But if you tune into their psyche, are they insecure about their intelligence? Is that why they reject chess as a you know, a sport? Because they rely on their physical strength and physical capabilities to validate them. And if chess is considered a sport, then like that's totally invalidating to their whole ego and like their whole world. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's why I don't like sociology. That's why I'm a psychology girl. But I understand, like, you have, you know, like, sociology is a part of that. But I just wish sociology looked more at psychology to understand the social aspect of interactions and networking and all of that. Anywho, that's just my rant for this. But we're talking about Mercury, the planet of communication. Hello, and it's the lower octave, okay? And it's not, when I say lower octave of communication, when I speak about Mercury, I'm gonna be rambling. Because it's in Aries, like, and Aries has no filter. If, again, watch the other freaking Aries Mercury video I did. Because Aries has no fucking filter, and it's the first sign of the zodiac, so it's like the baby of the zodiac. And what do babies do? Like, when they start talking, they start yapping. Like, we're just gonna be rambling. It's not gonna be well thought out. I didn't think about this video. I just turned on I was like, okay, I'm gonna talk about this because, yeah. Yeah, so, yeah, retrograde. Retrograde is a doozy. So anyway, talking about retrograde, you may be noticing, and I said this before, that your schedules are getting fucked up. And they will be messed up. Retrograde is not, like, nothing's gonna go according to plan. But I was gonna say this, yeah, before I freaking went off track. If you've been doing the work and you've been doing energy work and you've been taking care of yourself and you've been taking care of what you had to take care of outside of yourself as well, excuse me, Mom, you'll notice that even though like things are getting conjumbled around eclipse season and Mercury in retrograde, that you're still ironically on track. Like, you're still, what is that word? Oh my god, I can't fucking I can't speak, I can't think. You're still on track regardless. That's not the word I'm looking for, but whatever. You're still on track and everything is it's like working out, but not as you expected it to. Like, you're gonna be having mental breakthroughs during this time. You're gonna be having breakthroughs in general because of that eclipse energy. And I wanted to talk about both in one video because it's just like, these are like two astrological events that are going to be heavily impacting the collective and just people on their individual lives. So it's gonna be more tailored. 7-11 on my timer, but angel number, look it up. It's gonna be more tailored, again, as I said, to the individual's lives, because I don't see these, like, you know, we have like Pluto going into Aquarius, which also watch that video, and that's like more of a collective energy. It's obviously going to affect people on an individual level, but because the transit is so long, I think it's gonna be like, what, 19 years or something like that. It's gonna be in Aquarius. It's going to impact the whole world. And Pluto is a outside planet. It is not a personal planet. Our personal planets, now I was thinking about angles. We have angles too, our ascendant and descendant, which is birth time based. Why did I say it like that? Birth time based is based on your birth time. Okay, so you gotta know your birth time if you want to see your house, how your house setup is. I offer personal reading. Can you not? I offer personal readings, reading birth charts. If you want to purchase that, you can email me at ethereal@gmail.com. We have angles in our birth charts, and that's what I'm talking about. Like, you need your birth time for that. But we have personal planets, which is like our, you know, it has nothing to do with generational. It's just like, you know, timing and like you know, birthday base. So we have the sun, we have the moon, we have Mercury, we have Venus and Mars, and then Jupiter is considered an outside planet, but it shifts. It's the quickest shifting outside planet. So that's, you know, again, it's gonna be, for Jupiter to be considered a personal, like in the personal aspect of Jupiter, you have to look at what house your Jupiter is in. It's all tied together. Wow. So you have to see what house that your Jupiter is in, because you're gonna share the Jupiter sign with a multitude of people, but the house that it falls in, and this goes for every planet and including outside planets in your birth chart, to tailor it to you more and see how that collective energy affects you on a personal level. But Jupiter is kind of like that in between. It's like, okay, you know, it shifts quicker than Pluto, but it's still like, in order for it to be more personal, you gotta look at that the house it's in. But yeah, Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars. Those are the 5 personal planets to you. That's gonna, like, when these things shift, it's gonna be impacting you on a personal level, not just with, you know, the house it's in, but the sign itself, just the energy it's in right now, you know, the sign it's in. So with Mercury being in Aries in retrograde, it's like routines. It's like it's like backwards thinking, because there's basically no thought involved. Okay, you're gonna be impulsive, and you kind of have to be impulsive to navigate this energy. You cannot be rigid, ironically. You can't be rigid, okay? Like, you can't, you gotta go with the flow, but you gotta be fuego as well. So you can't be overthinking. Again, Mercury, it rules thought processes, it rules communication, and communication starts out as a thought usually, with the exception of it being in Aries, because again, that lack thereof thought. But again, on an individual level, if you do have an Aries Mercury, you're going to have to introspect more, not think more, but introspect more, and reflect upon your actions, you know, and how it's led you to where you're at right now. Now, if things are getting messed up during this Mercury retrograde, then that's because you haven't been doing what you're supposed to be doing. Aries, doing. Mars energy, doing. Okay, 11/11 on the timer. Make a wish. Pause the video. Make a wish. Okay. But if you have been doing what you're supposed to be doing thus far, and you'll know, because again, on an individual level, hello people, I can't tell you everything. Then you'll find out that things just work out. Things just work out for the best, and things are sorting themselves out, and that goes hand in hand, specifically with the eclipse season. Truth is coming to light. So if people have been being manipulative, if people have been playing games, if you've been being manipulative and playing games and not being completely truthful to yourself, 11:44 on the timer, that's about like stepping out of your comfort zone and working more effectively and efficiently in your life, which 11:55 abodes, right? 11:55, 55, 5 is all about change, and 1 is all about you. So changing what you do. I'm seeing all the angel numbers. I can't be calling them all out. 12, 21, 12, 22. Okay. Those go hand in hand, and they are different. They are different. They're not the same. So yeah. With the eclipse season, again, things being, I said this before in a video, but I love eclipse season because it's that energy where it's like you have to really pay attention to what's going on to see the truth and the illusions. And it's interesting because they blend. The truth and the illusions blend, and it's up to you to navigate that. 12:55 on the timer too. It's up to you to navigate that. We have a lot of angelic energy presence right now. Navigate that to see the truth and see the lies. And it's like you're gonna be met with a lot of dilemmas at this time. Your ego, the sun, and your intuition, the moon. A good prompt for this eclipse season, and any eclipse season, what does my ego want? Figure out, and you're not gonna immediately know. Okay, sometimes we think it's our intuition speaking, and it's really our ego telling us, I want this, I want this. Finding out what your intuition is telling you, and that's through emotions and how you feel, you know. And then your ego is gonna tell you, it's gonna be here. Your ego is here. Okay, you can rationalize anything. This is why I grew up very logical. I was a very logical child. Like, if it didn't make sense, like, it didn't fucking make sense. But I've also always been intuitive. I just didn't really, you know, you don't label it as that, especially because we live in a society. But, you know, people don't label it like that, like your sixth sense and stuff. That was all woo-woo stuff when I was growing up, right? So, yeah, but they go hand in hand. They go hand in hand. It's not like you could just scrap common sense and logic, you know. you have to blend the two, because that's the type of world we live in. We live in a world with energy, but we live in a tangible world as well. So it's not just one or the other. You can't just pick the 3D and pick the 5D. And we have masculine and feminine energies. We have masculine and feminine beings on this earth, and each have tailored energies. Okay, it's biological, and it's also energetic. Okay, you can't deny certain things. You just can't deny certain things. Now, we all have our own energy signatures and all of that, and we all have, you know, slightly more yin and yang energy on an individual level regardless. But it's up to us to blend those two. Okay, you got to bridge the worlds together to make the most out of this lifetime. You can't deny one or the other. Now, some people are meant to live a more 3D life, and some people are meant to live a more 5D life, and you know, that can be seen in your birth chart too. But at the end of the day, it's your soul's calling, it's your intuition, it's your sixth sense that really guides the way. And then you can use your logic to navigate, your common sense to navigate. But with the sun and moon energy, as I was saying, you have the feminine and the masculine. Sun, masculine, moon, feminine. And when those two come together, you have to see through which is which. Sort it out and really ask yourself, what do I do with this energy, and what do I truly want? And where is it coming from? It's really, that's like the key. Where is it coming from? Is it coming from my sun energy, my masculine, my ego, or is it coming from the moon energy? And like, I'm not demonizing the ego. You need the ego. We have an ego for a reason. But when the ego gets out of hand because it's imbalanced, okay, that's when it just leads us astray, and it just like, it starts grasping onto things, because the ego, when it's imbalanced, it operates from a place of fear and lack. Okay, so intuition, your intuition doesn't need anything. Okay, you just need to listen because it's that receptive feminine energy. But you also need the ego to ignite that willpower. You have to have the will, the strength, the drive to act upon your intuition, because that's, your intuition isn't, it's not, you know, it's not action based. It's, you're gotta use the ego to do, okay, that Mars masculine energy. But you need the feminine energy to tell you what to do. You know, what do you need to do, and why, and does it serve your highest good? Your ego, when your ego tells you to do something, it doesn't serve your highest good. I guarantee you it doesn't serve your highest good. You use your ego to figure out how to do something. You use your ego to feel you're doing so, okay? But when it comes to your intuition, you need, like, what am I supposed to do? Your intuition's got to tell you. Bars, when bro, we already know this. When I spit a bar, the shit facts on cop. Okay. Yeah, so this eclipse season, you need to figure out what is coming from where. Ask yourself, okay, what do I want? Write down what you want. Now, is this an ego-based want? If it is, if you figure out, oh shit, this is an ego-based want, instant gratification, greed, whatever, tailor it, because it's like, you still desire something. You just got to get to the root of, not the weed, but the tree. You know what I'm saying? Because the ego will be the weed. You got to get to the right root. You got to weed them out. You got to get to the root of the weed, weed it out, and now you're left with the root of the tree. And that's what you follow, so that you can get the fruit. Wow. We're going to end it there. This was, depending on what, you know what? Okay. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe for more. Comment down below how these energies are affecting you, how this eclipse season is affecting you so far. Have you been doing what you're supposed to be doing? And has everything been working out, or is everything getting fucked up for you? You can comment out down below. Yeah. I love y'all, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.